Hello and welcome to Blockchain Musician Star, the place where we talking with musician from Hive. This is the continue of the interview with Shunny, don't miss it.
I think so. I mean, it's often that I'm not aware of it often most of the time, but then people point something out. Oh yeah, you're right. This sounds a bit like, for example, I made a song which was in work for many years, and it changed over time. First it was a bit more electronic, then later I added more guitars to it, and then I started to record my vocals, and in the end it turned out to be something like, I guess, new metal or something. And then people started listening to it, and then they said, "Hey, this sounds a bit like Linkin Park." And I said, "Really? I never noticed, but yeah, you're right." And I love Linkin Park; it's one of my favorite bands. And so sometimes you don't even know that there's this influence. And then, of course, when you were talking about Linkin Park, there's Mike, who's very, I guess, yeah, in a way similar to what I do. Obviously, he's much bigger and everything, but because he raps, he produces electronic stuff, and he also, I think, he even started playing the guitar at some point. So the way he works, I guess, or the stuff he does is a bit similar to mine, basically. And or I guess like last year I was working on a track which was super energetic, a drum bass track with vocals also. And at some point I realized, yeah, that's a little bit like Fox Stevenson, which is an artist I really like. Also, he has this immense in his songs. Like, and even when you see him on stage, he's just jumping around all the time. And when I was recording that song, I had that same feeling. And when I was listening to it, I realized, hey, that could be like a little bit like him. But most of the time, it's not really conscious. But I think you're always influenced by things you hear, and maybe you don't know, but maybe you heard the song there 2 days ago, and then I'm under the shower maybe, and then I come up with this song, and maybe it's somehow related. You can never know, because music is always like that. People influence each other and inspire each other, and so it's difficult to track. I guess most of our time, whether it's time you take off from work or time you spend with music where you don't spend them otherwise. Let me think. Time, but also, yeah, maybe energy or sleep. I mean, when I'm working on a song, when I'm like in that phase where you really obsess about your song, when you have an earworm and you can't even stop listening to it in your head, and it's always playing in your head, and you have to basically finish it because otherwise you go crazy. So in those phases, it can be that I'm working on it like all night, and then maybe the next day I'm not that rested when I go to work, or even if I take a day off, maybe. So yeah, sleep, I guess, can also be something you sacrifice. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe, yeah, Mike Shinoda would probably be the closest match in that regard. But I don't think I really identify with any artist particular. It's more like maybe with the whole bunch of artists that I like, maybe I identify to the entirety of them. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, maybe when I was younger and doing rap music, obviously there were like some German rappers that I identified more with, for example, but that was more like a phase. Now they're part of my history basically, but I don't identify with them per se. So yeah, probably not in particular, no. I guess it depends. Also, it depends on the genre, the scene that you're in. For example, when I was in Münster studying there, the reggae scene was very, very large. Even though it's a small city, they had a big reggae scene. Everyone was supporting each other. There were lots of sound systems. So, for example, they had that there, but there was also like other scenes there, like rock and electro. But in Berlin, it's and I think it's also changed over the years. Like back in the days, there was like, for example, Stuttgart and Berlin were like hubs for German rap, and they were like battling each other or something, and different styles and influences. But these days, I think Berlin is very very dominated by electronic music. I think probably techno the most, even though it's not my main genre or something, but also drum bass, for example, and other electronic styles. And obviously Berlin is known for its parties. I mean, before the pandemic at least. So I think that's probably, I think Berlin is in that way the most distinguished scene, if you will. But yeah, it depends on the region and stuff. But, I guess it is difficult because it's also a very crowded space these days. Like when I said when I was younger and more active, it was different. The space wasn't that crowded, but would probably been the better opportunity maybe to break into the scene. But I think these days, yeah, not so much maybe from Germany, because I think I'm also very connected to people from other countries over the internet, of course. So I think that's where most of the support comes in these days. But back in the days, like when I was in Cologne, or even when I was in Münster, I had a lot of friends in music. So it was very different. There was more local support, basically, and you were more connected to other artists from, let's say, Southern Germany in Heilbronn, for example, or even from Switzerland, for example, or from Eastern Germany. Like there was a time in my life where I was in a hip-hop forum, basically, and we were meeting up every few months and in different cities. And we were hang out and freestyle and stuff like that. So that was a very different kind of support because you were actually meeting the people who were maybe supporting you and you were supporting them and you were working together on tracks and stuff like that. Or just your friends in your local town, of course. But these days it's a bit different. But maybe it'll change, I don't know. Maybe one day I will find my music scene here and then go to concerts, or have concerts again. Who knows, it can always change. Yeah, definitely. I'm planning to go to Canada for about a year. I had to postpone it a lot. I wanted to do it 2 years ago, and I still had to postpone it this year a bit. But yeah, I'm definitely planning to go there, and which is kind of nice. I mean, in many different aspects, but one of the aspects which wasn't planned, obviously, is several of the musicians on Adam Collector Records are from Canada. So maybe I can meet up with some of them. Maybe we can jam together. Maybe record some music together, even. And also, I'm curious because I was in Toronto 2 years ago once, and I'm curious. I checked out a few places where they play music and stuff like that. And I'm curious, especially if the pandemic ends, hopefully, to find out what the music scene is there, like more than just like as a tourist, but actually as someone living there, and try to connect with people, and maybe go to some concerts if they're happening again. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that, just to have new experiences, new influences, which will create new music. Obviously, there's always, when I go on vacation or something, I always get new inspiration also. And yeah, that's definitely my plan for this year. And then maybe next year I'll even might go to South America or something. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I always wanted to check it out. I got friends there too, so in several countries, especially in Brazil, for example. I think one friend from Venezuela, but he's still in Germany. But yeah, I think for this year, I'm definitely looking forward to go to Canada and have that new experience.